Empire Magazine is going to be running an article in their December 2018 issue, which is a direct interview with director Travis Knight from the Bumblebee movie that will be coming out that same month that the magazine comes out. Now, this interview has a lot of spoilers in it, so I kind of picked and choose stuff out of it that wouldn't be too spoilery. They ask a whole bunch of questions, like they ask him what his favorite G1 characters were, and so it's Optimus Prime, Shockwave, Soundwave, and Bumblebee. He mentions how he went for a very G1 aesthetic, metallic giants with real personalities. There's something so magical about the simplicity of those designs. So he likes that simplistic design, I guess, over the more Michael Bay aesthetic that we've been used to up to this point. His thoughts about the characters of Dropkick and Shatter, the two new Decepticons, and how they're woven from the same fabric as G1. The mention here, and this was interesting that was mentioned, Shatter looks like a G1-inspired Nightbird minus the nunchucks. Never really thought of it like that. I want someone to...
Well, we can actually scroll down in this article to see that picture of them running.
It's one of those things that I want someone to take that picture and maybe Photoshop Shatter into like a gray and purple and see how that kind of pans out. It says here Dropkick was inspired by G1 Megatron. I don't know if he means that personality-wise or because, I mean, I didn't really catch that from a little car. But that's what he says here. Director considers G1 Megatron design one of the greatest designs of Transformer history. I don't know about that. I've always found it was one of the easiest designs. I know that Pat Lee, who's always had a very difficult time at remembering Transformer designs when he draws them, he usually needs reference photos. But he said that G1 Megatron was the only one he could draw by memory. Where even Optimus Prime, Hot Rod, a lot of other guys, he needs reference. But he said G1 Megatron, I could do it by memory. So that always told me, oh, he must be like super simple to do then. There's also a mention of how they actually had to delete some scenes from the movie because Haley Steinfeld, who's Charlie in the movie, her facial expressions were almost enough to convey emotions for certain scenes that they didn't need the dialogue to go with it, which is kind of an interesting mention there. So probably some deleted scenes for the DVDs down the line.
Well, yeah, usually they say with movies, the language of movies, you should show and not, you don't necessarily have to tell. You don't have to have narration. You could just show it.
Well, especially since
it's a movie.
Especially since Bumblebee doesn't have any dialogue really either. It kind of works that way. Also mentions that Dropkick has an unusual, quirky sense of humor, which I find then weird considering he mentioned he were inspired by G1 Megatron. So I don't know what's going on there. They go on to also mention that unlike the Michael Bay movies, there's little to no globetrotting. This is all confined into beautiful Northern California. Can't argue with that.
Okay.
They said they look out for a big homage to Big Trouble in Little China. Now I got to look for that.
Everyone always pays homage to that movie, it's just, I'm doing an actual like live action movie. Put in something for Big Trouble in Little China. Just do that. Just do it.
A lot of other stuff is mentioned here. I kind of want to skip over some of it because it's kind of spoilery. Just some other things he mentions here. The Volkswagen Beetle is round in shape. It's approachable and non-threatening. Kind of what Hitler said. He said it was round and cute so that the common man could enjoy it and find it interesting. So, yeah, but it makes sense. I mean, that's why the Beetle has always been popular all those years and even used with Herbie the Love Bug and then some.
But I mean, also that's the whole point. No, it's robots in disguise. You don't want to be like, hey, look at me, I'm over here.
Hey,
you
look
want
at me,
to kind of blend in.
I'm this unreleased Camaro.
I'm this Camaro that doesn't exist yet, but somebody's driving it, so I'm going to quickly scan it.
And Jazz is this Solstice that's like super expensive that would turn heads anyways. I
don't think the Solstice was that expensive.
I don't know. It would turn heads if it would drive on.
It would. It definitely turned heads, but I don't think. Like I know it was made by Saturn. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was crazy unobtainable. I know some people were able to get it.
They also go to mention, and this we kind of know, Bumblebee's character is going to be a mech out of water kind of situation, similar to Captain America. We kind of knew that already.
Mm-hmm. Being Captain America, Thor, Wonder Woman,
being an alien from another planet.
E.T. tale as old as time.
They mentioned that Charlie has a dog named Conan, and I read in another interview saying, yup, based on that Conan. And they would go on to not mention who that Conan is, the barbarian or the talk show host. I don't know. I'm going to assume.
Well, no, it can't be the talk show host because he didn't have a talk show until the 90s.
No, but I'm saying if it's a meta joke, like it's like is it a because it's a Jack Russell Terrier mix, so I'm like I guess it's the barbarian. I don't know.
I mean, if it's an 80s movie, I would assume it's based off of that particular one.
I guess so, yeah.
That's the it would be based off of the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. Otherwise, I don't know which other one you would go with, you know.
And I guess the last two things just to mention here, again, that's avoiding more of the spoilery stuff, is they mentioned with the action scenes, it's a very car-based carnage, which to be fair is similar to that of the previous Michael Bay movies. He loves a good car chase, and this will probably be no different. And he mentions that the robots carry space-age weaponry while the humans carry regular weapons. Again, the first movie, Michael Bay movie, had a lot of that. There was the pulse rifle, energy rifles of the Transformers against the more machine gun-esque stuff of the U.S. military. So, yeah, I'm going to post the link in the description of the whole article. Again, warning, there's some spoilers of the movie in this article. So if you want to go into this completely, blind, I would suggest probably avoiding this. It was just there was a few things that were mentioned, like that G1 Nightbird mention makes me really scratch my chin now. Wonder if we're gonna get a repaint of that mold as G1 Nightbird or something. It'd be cool. But still pretty interesting. And again, we're only 2 months away from this movie, so hashtag join the buzz, and let's hope it doesn't break our hearts like the past ones have.